Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my Crash Bandicoot N-Sane Trilogy analysis video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the gameplay that was shown as well as the opening cutscene. So instead of me commentating live on the gameplay video, like I usually do, I'm going to be doing I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions, like almost like a list, and I'm going to talk about the little things I've noticed after multiple viewings. So let's get underway. So, the biggest point I want to make, first off, is I personally think the gameplay, the look, the sound, and everything to do with this is one-for-one perfect. I think it is brilliant. They have really nailed the look, the sound, and the gameplay of the original Crash Bandicoot. The gameplay is certainly the most important part of it, of course, and during the trailer, people were, skeptical that it looked a bit slow. Well, after actually seeing gameplay of the game, it certainly doesn't look slow. The trailer gave it a bit of a false look, just for a trailer, and it looks a lot smoother, and the animations look a lot better, and it certainly looks like it plays like the original Crash Bandicoot. But I'm sure they'll obviously smoothen out the gameplay so it's not as bad as the Crash 1 gameplay. Well, I say bad. I'm a defender of Crash 1. I think it's a brilliant game, and I think the gameplay, while obviously not as good as 2 and 3, it is still pretty damn good. It has its moments of level design fuck-ups, but overall it's fine, and I think they're going to smoothen the gameplay and make it a lot better. It's basically Crash 1, but better. The second thing I want to mention is the look of the game. So in the first video, I gave the Crash model a bit of flack. It looked, the fur was a big part of it. But actually looking at the gameplay now, the model itself is absolutely fantastic. It looks so like the original, like the back of Crash. It's exactly the same shape. It's honestly perfect. Obviously, the fur might need toning down a bit, but apart from that, it looks absolutely fine. And also talking about the look of the game, the game's level geometry, the landscape of the levels, that all looks absolutely fine. Really good, actually. I especially like the totem tiki pole, the pillars, the stone pillars, the faces. I like how they're identical to the original. I've always liked them faces. As well, I also like the details of in heavy machinery with just the platforms and the way they move and the enemies, the shine, and even like the background, just the level of detail overall in the levels looks really good. And this is saying something because it's early in development, but it already looks this good. So now I can't honestly wait to see what the final product looks like. The third thing I want to mention is the sound and the soundtrack. So there's a lot of original sounds in the remake. There is most notable the spin attack. When you spin an enemy, when it flies off into the distance, that's exactly the same. I love that little detail. I love how they didn't change it. The Wumpa Fruit is different, Akuku, a lot of different sounds are different, but they are very reminiscent of the original game. A lot of people dislike the Wumpa Fruit sound effect because it sounds a bit weird, but I weirdly quite like it. It's a sound of an apple crunching when you collect it, and I like it. I do like the original sound effect of Wumpa Fruit, and if they change it to the original, that's fine. But the new one is just as good, to be honest with you. My opinion. And also, they still have not figured out what Akuku says, so they've just done the whole, hula hula, And as for the soundtrack, so all of the music we've heard so far are remixes of Josh Mansell's original work. Unfortunately, Josh himself could not be a part of the project, but the people who are doing the music are doing so far an incredible job recreating his music, so that's very good to hear. I especially love the Heavy Machinery soundtrack. It seems to have a mix of original soundtrack to the remix. So like a lot of the sounds in the music are identical. So it's like a bit of like a remix. It's not just completely recreated, it's got elements of the original soundtrack in there. And lastly, I want to expand more on the gameplay. Two things. One, the level geometry looks near enough identical to the original game, as it should do, because it's a remake. And secondly, something that really caught my eye and I noticed is the camera. The camera is, alongside with the level geometry, identical. So the camera is exactly in the same place as it used to be. So it's very similar scenes as you've seen. And the fact that it's that similar to the original, almost identical, is basically what, in my opinion, a remake should be. You know, it's not overly different. It's got a few different tweaks and changes to the environment, but apart from that, the levels look like vertically identical, and the camera follows Crash in exactly the same way, which is just great. Like it honestly, if you compare it to the original game, it's identical, vertically identical anyway. Okay, so moving on to the intro cutscene. So they showed off the original intro to the game, and it is again one-for-one perfect, remade from the original game, and they have done a really good job. A few things that I want to mention, a little highlights that I really liked. One, the animation on the characters is really top-notch stuff, especially on Embryo. I noticed his facial expressions when he's pulling the lever to you know, move Crash into the vortex. It's just really, you know, very cartoony, very expressive, and just all around just really exciting to look at. Like, the intro cutscene was always a bit weird in the first game. Like, it was just kind of a nonsense story thrown together, kind of. Well, it is, let's be honest. And but they've done a good job making it bizarre and wacky, because that's what it is. And yeah. Secondly, I love that Lex Lang has come back to do the voice of Cortex again. However, he's doing the original intro's game. He didn't do that in the first game. Crash Cortex was voiced by another person. The person's name escapes me, unfortunately. But it's really weird hearing the iconic voice actor for Cortex doing the voice for the intro of the original game. That's never heard before, and it's something I wanted as a kid. And it's happened, and it's really quite cool. And the last thing I want to mention about the intro cutscene is Torna. So yeah, Torna's back, Crash Bandicoot's girlfriend, and in the original game, she was just a damsel in distress. She didn't have any character at all, to be honest with you, and she was kind of one of the most forgotten characters in Crash's history, to be honest. But I really would like what they've done here. So they've changed the intro cutscene, so instead of her just being held back by scientists, you know, to be ready to be, you know, Vortex, whatever Cortex does in that scene, she fights back. She punches a scientist, and then she's slowly being surrounded by other scientists, and she's, you know, she can't do anything about it. I really like this change. In fact, it's probably my favourite thing about the entire cutscene. They've given her a character, she can fight back, and she may be more interested in the entire game. We don't know if she might even speak. This has nothing been confirmed, but the fact that they've given her more of time to, you know, act. You know, she's punching scientists and stuff. She's not just a helpless damsel in distress. It's really good. And she's still gonna be a damsel in distress. Like, that's the plot of the first game. It seems they're making Torna more of an interesting character without actually changing the entire game around it. That's really cool, and I'm all for that. Okay, so now I'm going to go over a few little points. Some details you might not have noticed on your first viewing of the gameplay or the trailers or anything like that. And I'm just going to go through them one by one, and I'm going to discuss them. So here we go. Time trials in both Crash 1 and 2. This is exactly what I wanted from the remake. If they were ever going to remake Crash, please add the time trials in the first two games. That has been fulfilled, and I am so happy. One can assume that it's got the platinum relics and the gold relics and the, you know, sapphire relics, as well as different time challenges. I'm just so excited. Not only do we get to see where all the boxes locations are going to be, you know, all the different timer boxes in the levels. We finally have an excuse to speedrun and keep replaying Crash 1 and 2. The best thing about Crash 3 was its time trials, and it was the feature that everyone loved. It was redone in Crash 4, Wrath of Cortex, and I think in a few other games as well. It is a thing that is now... It made Crash Bandicoot. It is honestly one of the best things about Crash. And because they've added it into the original games, it's just so good. I'm so excited. Honestly, this is something I've wanted since I was a kid. You know, I used to just like play Crash 1 just thinking, man, wouldn't it be so cool to like just speedrun this game and get like a relic for it? That'd be so good. And now they've done it, and I could not be happier they've added that in. So the second new thing, well, this is more of a fix, is they have implemented the box system from Crash 2 and 3 into 1. This is the biggest change to Crash 1 in my opinion, and it's the one that I have been personally wanting since I played Crash Bandicoot 1, let's be honest. It seems the Torna bonuses now count towards your box total, as seen in the gameplay. This is great, because beforehand, you just did the bonuses just to save. There's no point collecting the boxes other than getting Wumpa Fruit or potential lives. They served as nothing, you know? But now you have to get all the boxes, which is going to be quite challenging because getting all the boxes in some Torna levels, I remember being quite hard. But I've done it before. So this is going to make the box total in some levels in the box gem quite hard to get now, which is great. And because they have put in the better system from 2 and 3 into 1, the saving system from 1 is gone. Like the old crappy saving system where you have to go to find Torna in a Torna level is gone. It's just collect the boxes and you save when you can, and you know, just like in Crash 2 and 3. Best change they've done so far. The third little thing I noticed with the bonuses again is they appear to be replayable in Crash 1. So in Crash 2 and 3, if you died in the bonus, you just have to go back on the platform and replay the bonus. In Crash 1, however, if you died, you could not go back to the bonus and you could not save. Or, you know, get a password for the wherever you are in the game. Nope, all it does now, if you get the third Torna in the box, a little portal will open, and if you die in it, you just go back into the portal. This is unconfirmed if that also applies to the Brio and Cortex levels. As just me thinking about it, I don't think it will be replayable. If they were replayable, that would be amazing, but those levels were hard for a reason, because you got special items from it. You know, from the Cortex levels, you got the key. But we'll have to see about that. We've not seen anything yet. But if they are replayable, that's cool. But if not, obviously, the challenge is still there, and we'll see. Also, we don't know if the boxes in those two different bonuses are going to count towards the box gem. My assumption is yes, but we'll see. And lastly, this little change they've done has made me so happy. It's so funny. Basically, at the end of the level, when you have the box count, and you know, great, but you missed this many amount of boxes. The more boxes you miss, the more and more Crash gets hurt, and eventually he becomes encumbered and just falls to the ground. I thought that change was hilarious, I gotta be honest, and I had to put it down because I don't think some of you might have not noticed it. It's a very minor point to make. I just noticed it. The angel death is back. It's so very much Crash Bandicoot, the classic angel, you know, when you die you turn into an angel death. I have not seen the classic Crash 1 death where it goes to a black screen and you just spin on the spot and go full, you know. If that's back in, that'd be really good, because I really like it. There's a little tiny of the minor things I want in this game. I just want that back, but the angel's cool as well. So yeah guys, that I think that wraps up my little analysis of the gameplay, as well as some other little things I've noted down. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments and questions about the Crash Bandicoot Remastered trilogy, please let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear what you think. And yeah guys, I'll be back with more videos very soon. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.